Okay, so I want you guys to ask yourselves, okay, so let's do this. Okay, I want you guys to ask yourselves, do you feel more energized when you're in a state of grief, a state of sadness, a state of just being tired all the time, a state of just depression? Or do you feel more energized when you're in a state of anger? Anger? So what they've discovered in kinesiology is that they started examining every single emotion, and they started calibrating every single emotion that we go through. So in kinesiology, they calibrated the level of grief, the state of grief, as 10 to the 75th power. And they also calibrated the emotion of anger as 10 to the 150th power. So if you ask yourselves, do you guys feel more energized when you're in a state of joy, where everything's effortless, everything's peaceful, everything's just like, oh my gosh, I love you? Or do you guys feel more energized when you're in a state of anger? When you're like pissed off at someone, where you just like don't like someone, where you just want to push them away? Which state would you guys feel more energized by? Joy or anger? Joy. Okay. So, joy.
One of them. Come here. One of them, not me.
Okay.
I'm the outlier. All right.
So, some of you may have internally felt like, okay, but I'm kind of energized when I'm angry. So what anger does, it gives you a short-term energy, but a long-term physiological pain inside of your body. So what they've discovered in kinesiology is that there are emotions that have a physiological effect on the body that actually weaken you, and that there are emotions that are physiologically supportive of you. So when you're in states of courage, when you're in the state of joy, when you're in the state of peace, when you're in the state of compassion and forgiveness, there's a physiological effect on the body that is supportive of your life. And also, there are emotions such as anger, such as depression, such as fear, such as worry, such as hesitation and caution and all this tenseness that will physiologically weaken the body. And what we're trying to do is that we're trying to examine the sensations that are going throughout our body that weaken us, and to examine the sensations that are going throughout our body that support us. So when we're interacting with a person, when we're going up to a person, if we're in a state of joy, if we physiologically feel well within ourselves, we can also remind them to physiologically enhance themselves as well. But when we're kind of in a state of fear, when we're kind of in a state of like, I don't want to, right? Or in a state of anger or judgment, or in a state of just like, just too much, right? That is an emotion. If you get attuned to it, if you intuitively feel it, it is going to physiologically weaken you as a person. So as we're interacting with people, as we're communicating with people, we have to be able to examine the emotions that are going to support us, and examine the emotions that are not going to support us, like that. And that's how we're going to create the engagement that we want. So how do we go inside of our bodies to be able to examine the sensations that are going to weaken us? Have you guys ever felt tired before? Where you're like, oh, I'm so tired right now, right? And then what happens is that as you say, I'm tired, as you feel the sensation go throughout your body as you're tired, right? Then you have this thought inside of your head, oh, I'm tired, right? So what happens is that you start reinforcing the sensation that is going throughout your body. Or for example, let's say, have you ever been shy before, right? So what happens is that the sensation of fear, the emotion of fear is going throughout your body. And then what happens is that you have a thought and you label that sensation as shyness. And what happens is that it allows that sensation, that emotion, that vibration to proliferate throughout your life, to proliferate in your day-to-day behaviors. So now you're not actually shy. It's just a sensation going throughout your body, but you're attaching your identity to it. So now you allow that emotion to continue running your life, right? So what I want you guys to do is that I want you guys to examine the sensations that are going throughout your body that don't serve you, that don't support you, by going inside of your body. And as you go inside of your body, you're gonna recognize, okay, this sensation works and this sensation doesn't work. So when I'm dreading the day, when I'm kind of resistant on something, when I'm kind of fearful of someone, when I'm judgmental of someone, when I don't want to talk to someone, when I'm resentful for someone for some particular reason, we examine that sensation throughout our bodies, and we want to sit with it and accept it. Have you ever been acknowledged? Have you ever been accepted? Have you ever been in a state of I love you? Unconditional love. Have you ever been in that state and you felt that genuinely inside of your body? Have you guys ever felt that? Maybe? Maybe? I'm kidding. So when you acknowledge someone, when you unconditionally love them, when you appreciate them, you heal that emotion. You allow them to feel that emotion, because it's all about going into that state of fear. But then when you accept it, that turns into excitement, right? When you're in a state of like, oh, I don't want to, like I have too much anxiety, but that anxiety can be shifted when you accept it. And when you accept it, that's when people call it excitement, right? So the way that we're gonna go inside of our bodies right now, right? So I want you guys to like rub your hands together real quick. Rub your hands, woohoo! And then I want you guys to move your hands out a little bit. Okay. So what you guys are gonna feel is a subtle sensation. It's very subtle, right? Or I want you guys to put your hands like this, and I want you guys to put your attention on your elbows. I want you to put your attention on your stomach. I want you to put your attention on your heart. I want you to put your attention on your feet. So as you guys started putting your attention into these areas, you guys felt a subtle sensation, right? So that is your emotional body. That is your energy body. That's your sensational body, or whatever you want to call it. Those are the sensations that we have to constantly put ourselves, our attention into, so we know. It's kind of like eating. It's like, oh, if you don't take care of what your body is feeling on a constant basis, you're basically eating at McDonald's every single day. But if you're constantly looking at your body every single day, then you're basically eating healthy foods. So it's very similar to a diet. If you're not constantly being aware of the sensations that are proliferating throughout your body, then you're eating unhealthy foods. But if you're aware of it and you're constantly examining it, then you allow yourselves to be healthy. So when you go up to that next person, or when you communicate with that person, boom, you're gonna notice a physiological effect on your body, and they're gonna also notice a physiological effect on their body as well, if they resonate with that, if they want to mirror it back, if they remind themselves, oh, I need to feel joyful right now because a person's going up to them. Not everybody's gonna be like, and that's acceptable. I accept that, I let that be. I don't try to control it, I don't try to manage it, I don't try to judge it, because what that's gonna do, it's just gonna make them feel more that way. So we don't want that. Okay, so as we go inside of our bodies, and I want you guys to feel any sensations that are tight, that feel knotting, that feel tense. Maybe find situations where people have judged you. Find situations where people have belittled you. Find situations where people wanted to separate from you. And I want you guys to notice those sensations that are going throughout your body right now. And I want you guys to actively let go of that. So just imagine you're letting it go. As you're breathing out, imagine that emotion just being cleansed out of your body. So you're cleansing those sensations that are going throughout your body. And you guys constantly have to do this, because what's gonna happen, all those emotions that are gonna weaken you are gonna play out through your life all the time. And you're gonna start attaching thoughts to it. For example, let's say there is no cause to why you feel in a particular way. So for example, right, I get the money, I get the paycheck, I get the boyfriend, I get the girlfriend, right? they are not necessarily, or you listen to that right music, right? Those external objects aren't actually making you feel that way. But what happens is that it's reminding you of the emotions that are viscerally going inside of you. So we got to detach ourselves from the external and constantly examine what is internally, the sensations that are going throughout your body, right? So I want you guys to, this is the very last thing, I want you guys to take your guys' hands together real quick. And I'll be in with you guys. I'll be with you guys. Take each other's hands. We're gonna create a circle right now.
Join us.
Mahaha!
Joining a cult.
Okay.
No.
I know, I feel you. Okay. So, remember when you guys went inside of your bodies and you guys try to let it go? So, we're gonna go inside of our bodies, and I want you guys to visualize the fireman right now in Northern California. I want you to imagine the people that are right now that may be suffering in your life right now, that may have an illness right now, that may be going through a hard time, the friends that are going through a hard time, the people at MSJC here that are going through their anxiety, that are going through their dread, that are going through their constant rushingness and constant feelings of busyness and overwhelm, right? Of like, I have to do the next exam, and the overwhelm of the parents are constantly demanding them to do this and do that. And what I want you guys to do is that I want you guys to imagine and visualize peace being emanated from you towards them. So remember when you guys were rubbing your hands together and you guys felt a slight tingling sensation? So as we start cleaning ourselves, as we start examining ourselves and examining every single sensation that is going throughout our body, what's gonna happen is that those sensations are naturally going to emanate from you, are going to emit from you, and people are going to feel it just like that. And our ability to allow it to allow that to expand and share those positive emotions to people, and to imagine those people letting go of all that burden that's going within them. If you guys could imagine them and to wish them a sense of peace. Now, all that peace that you may potentially be wishing to everybody else, if you guys could wish that peace back to yourselves, that silence that you guys felt, that subtle silence of just like not thinking, that you guys were able to experience, because I experienced that. Did you guys experience like just not thinking as you guys were doing that? Was it just me? Okay, awesome. Okay, cool. So I want you guys to wish that experience upon yourselves, that ability to just stop thinking, that ability to just stop thinking about what this person, like when is this person gonna text me back, or when is this person why is this person so like jealous and envious, or any kind of things like that that may be bothering you today. And I just want you guys to go back inside of your body, go back inside of your emotional body, and go into that and make sure that's the primary thing that you're looking at as you're examining which emotions are serving you, which emotions are not serving you. There may be thoughts of impatience, right? And I want you to examine the emotion of impatience, right? It's like, oh, I gotta get somewhere. I gotta rush to get somewhere, right? And I want you guys to examine the emotion of that. And you have to ask yourself, does that emotion serve me? Does that vibration inside of my body serve me as a person? And you look at that and you're like, that kind of feels toxic a little bit. Like me rushing to get somewhere, me rushing to do this and rushing to do that. And it kind of feels toxic inside of my body. Now you brainwash yourself, you program yourself like, oh, I have to get this so I can be happy. I have to finish my homework so my parents can stop BSing me and I can finally be in a situation where I have a career. But if you really examine all those things that you want externally, you just want to be happy, right? So, but happiness starts physiologically inside of our bodies. So we have to be able to examine those emotions that are going through us, and we have to really ask ourselves, is this sensation, is this vibration serving me or hurting me? Okay, I want you to talk about what you wished for, the peaceful intention that you wished for. If you could, what do you wish peace for right now?
I don't know.
Okay, how about you?
I hope you got a good, great exam.
Grade of the exam?
Yeah.
Awesome, cool,
Same.
awesome.
My mom's health.
I appreciate that, thank you.
My growling stomach.
I feel you. Dude, heck yeah. That attachment to your stomach, oh, it's freaking starving, oh, the anguish, right? If you feel the emotion of anguish, of like the impatience, like, dude, I just gotta get food in my body, right? You feel that cravingness, right? That's an emotion, that's a sensation going in your body. But as we let go of that sensation and we recognize, you know what, I can just be at peace with myself even though I'm not eating right now. I'm like, hey, okay, cool. How about you? Not to be stressed. Awesome, thank you.
My relation with my sister.
Oh my gosh. I have a friend that was going through the exact same thing. Her sister, like the house, like there's so much like anxiety in there and you're just like, yo, like the amount of tears that happen like between like the sisterhood and stuff, it's like nuts. And the amount of, oh my gosh. How about you, brother?
Oh, just my family and friends.
Yeah. Dude, sometimes it's really hard to love your family because you see all the little things that your family does, the way that they belittle you, the way that they condemn you, the way that they disapprove of you. And for us to feel unconditional love for that, that's a whole other journey within itself. Okay, how about you, brother?
I want some peace with the professors that like pissed off at me.
Yeah,
Peace for all those wars in the Middle East.
That's what's up.
yeah,
Peace for those guys.
yeah. Oh yeah, the Middle East. There was this experiment was actually inspired by a peace experiment where they actually did it for the Middle East, and what they wish for is a 10% increase in peace for people in the Middle East and stuff. So that was really powerful.
How do you quantify that?
They actually examined that. They actually examined the behaviors in that. They examined the statistics of behaviors. I don't know exactly how they did that, but I guess they have data graphs for people and stuff.
So what's the unit for peace? Is it like a peace unit?
Yeah, it's like a movement of people and stuff. Just like have the intention of peace and stuff. I love it. See, what's happening is that you're creating flow, right? So as you're creating movement, you're feeling a flow going throughout our bodies. And as you're doing that, you're noticing your emotions start to hype up into joy, right? So you're just letting yourself be, and it's like, whoa, what's good, what's ever. All right, what's yours, brother?
Stay this happy.
Just stay this happy? Dude, imagine being in this state 24/7, 365. But you can be in that state, literally. But no one believes that they can. No, I feel you, brother. All right, how about you? Oh my gosh. See, what's amazing is that the love of joy is always selfless. It's like that emotional sense, it's like selfless. You can feel like you're sending it to the other person. It's not about you, right? Like let's say you're in traffic or something, and it's like, oh, freaking that person, like if that car accident didn't happen, like I would be driving way faster. but then it's about me. But not recognizing, hey, that guy is in a struggling situation right now that had an accident right now. Let's have some compassion for that guy. So when we're selfless, it works so much better. Okay, how about you? Peace at home. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes there's physical abuse, verbal abuse. I'm not saying that was you, but I know people that have a lot of physical abuse and verbal abuse that happens at home, and people are just so done with it, and they just want to get out of the house. They hate their house. They don't know how, no one told them on how to go about it. And that's a real thing that's going on with all of us, right? How about you?
Just financial peace with people around me and myself.
Yeah. Financial peace. Dude, I have financial like anguish all the time. It's like, oh, I have to go up to my boss. I have to communicate to my boss. I have to communicate boundaries with my boss. And there's all that stress that happens and all that stuff. And we have to be at peace with that. And we have to not let it affect ourselves. So that way we can communicate way better. Like we get more what we want when we're in a state of joy, when we're smiling, but not insincerely. But because the moment we go into a state of insincerity, you'll notice that emotion inside of your body of tenseness, right? So you thinking that, oh, I need to smile, that's not gonna work because there's a subtle insincerity with it, and that emotion physiologically weakens you. So what we have to do is we have to recognize which emotions are gonna physiologically support me and which emotions are gonna physiologically weaken me. All right, how about you, brother?
A better future for my baby sister.
Yeah. You're a good brother. You're a good brother. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. How about you?
Peace in life in general. Hopefully, getting a higher promotion. Just peace in family, peace in just anything possible. Just trying to remove all stress.
Yeah. All right. Feel it in. Feel it. You feel it? You feel all that joy in your midsection, brother? Yeah. I love it too. All right. Cool. I just want to wish you guys, thank you guys so much. I just really want you guys to examine your emotions. So when you go up to that next person that you guys go up to, make sure you ask them, make sure you say, be like, hey, I appreciate this about you. I appreciate your hair. I also appreciate your hair. I also appreciate your hair. I appreciate your glasses. I appreciate your smile. Actually, I see kind of like some aspect about like, you kind of look like a friend, old friend of mine. I appreciate like, you're just like chillness. I appreciate that. And I appreciate your joy that's going within you. And I appreciate that courage that's coming out of your shyness right now, in a way. I really appreciate that. I appreciate you're just nonchalant, just like going about your day, like, yeah, like, oh shit, like, I appreciate, like, oh shit, what are you gonna do? I appreciate that. I appreciate your confidence. I appreciate your humbleness. I appreciate you being able to go up to people and supporting me. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you. This wouldn't have happened without any of you guys, by the way. I appreciate your innocence. I appreciate your innocence. I feel like you have an underlying intelligence that's like within you, and you have that like intelligent vibe that's like kind of coming out. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, just like that. I love that. I appreciate your love for your sister. I actually had a hard time relating that because I'm only a child and all that stuff, so I appreciate that. And I appreciate your smile, brother. Your smile, brother. I appreciate that, brother. All right, so be able to go up to a person and ask them what they appreciate, what you appreciate about them. Because all those smiles, that was not because I appreciated them. It's because I reminded them of what was already inside of them. So that smile, that love that you felt when I shared a little bit of appreciation, right? That was an emotion that's already inside of you that you could tap into. I didn't create that, but I just did a little bit of a reminder. So if you can remind someone of an emotion that is going inside of them already, that is gonna be the most powerful thing that you guys can do. All right, done, you guys. Thanks so much, you guys.